Hola amigos, what is up? This is Tales of Firaga, and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man Powered Up. Alright. It's our Sapphire Man Stage. So, as it would turn out, if you put the PSP to sleep in the middle of something to go, say, grab dinner, it doesn't stay connected to the TV. So, that's fun. Regardless, though, it's time to continue along on a merry adventure through fire. The merriest of elements. It's why everything is on fire during Christmas time, you know? See, that's true in the other hemisphere, the south-ish one. The southish hemisphere. Oh boy, rain is not a thing. So I guess in Fireman... That's bad. There we go, that's good. I guess in Fireman Stage I can talk about a few other things as well. And mainly, you'll probably notice that the Ice Slasher doesn't freeze the fire pillars for that long. But there actually is something to it. Each one of the different characters you play as actually has their own strengths for when they use their weapon as well. So they all use basically just their Robot Master weapon as their only attack option. But on the other hand, they actually have different enhancements to it. So Cutman, for instance, is capable of throwing 2 rolling cutters at a time, and he can also, like, wall jump as well. Bomb Man can angle his hyper bombs, so it's actually pretty neat. Iceman, basically his Ice Slasher lasts for a longer amount of time, which definitely not a bad thing. Because Mega Man's Ice Slasher lasts for a pretty short amount of time, honestly. Oh, unfortunately, no matter what, I hate Fireman Stage. That's not it. It's just gonna be a pain in the butt to get through, isn't it? I'm gonna have to time this. Right, there we go. So you might also notice as I'm playing through the stage as well, that there are some things that kind of look like alternate paths that don't lead to anything. That's primarily because I've actually gotten what's behind them already. So a lot of them are just like different asset packs for the game's level constructor, which, again, I'll probably show the level maker off at some point, because it is pretty cool. It's... God damn it. I'm missing a shot against the killer bullet. Not a fun time. But again, it's Fireman Stage, you just kind of take those. So the level editor is definitely, like, limited in comparison to what you can do in something like Mega Maker, which I guess makes sense. Because Mega Maker is meant to be like, oh, all the 8-bit Mega Man games together in one big fan-made package. And Mega Maker is actually really impressive too. It's real cool. God, I want to stream more Mega Maker again at some point. This is bad though. No. There are reasons why I hate Fireman Stage, and a lot of them has to do with almost everything. Maybe I will show off like some custom levels and whatnot. I don't know if the online service still works for downloading levels, but if it does, that would actually be pretty neat. Because then I could take, like, like viewer-submitted stages and whatnot. If it doesn't still work, that's also fine, but I think it would be cool to be able to do that. Of course, make my own stages and post them online for the internet to see.
Fire! Burn! Burn! My justice burns hotly! Evil beware!
Fireman, why are you... I haven't done anything to you.
By the fire of justice, I am certain you are evil! Fire! Oh, fire!
Fireman is... I can't do Fireman's voice, because every time I try to do like that Yosemite Sam-ish voice, I'm terrible with accents, so it just starts to sound like Danny DeVito instead. Oop. So here's another cool thing as well. You can actually freeze Fireman's desperation attack. Just kind of a nice touch there. Fireman is significantly easier in this game as well. I'm the fireman. I burn garbage. Unfortunately, get a bad score on that stage. You know what we didn't get a bad score on? Getting the Firestorm. Firestorm is, again, pretty decent weapon. Problem is, its ammo count is garbage in this game. It's not very good if you're trying to, like, use a weapon for a buster replacement at all. Alright, the Fireman down. It's time to go into one of the new Robot Masters here, Oilman.
It's showtime!
So Oilman's design is a little weird, but the character also is censored in the North American versions of it. Well, I don't know if it's really constitutes a censorship. It's more of Capcom kind of created this character art and didn't realize that, oh, it kind of looks like a racial stereotype because the character's design is very much blackface in the Japanese version. And I like to think it's just, like, ignorance on that part, and that they didn't actually intend for the character to, like, be a racial stereotype. It's also a reason why in the Archie comics his mouth is usually, like, covered up with a scarf when he appeared. So Oilman Stage is actually kind of interesting. It, A, has these crazy cannons from Mega Man 2, but B, oil. If you continuously just do little light taps, you can go through the oil, no problem. If you actually try to run, though, you slip around. It's an obnoxious gimmick, and what makes it even worse is that if you try to use fire, fire and oil do not mix, which, oh, come on, I'm trying to jump first and then do the thing. In spite of that, though, I think Oilman actually has, like, a really good piece of music associated with him. I actually really like how his theme is. And I think, like, thematically the whole oil thing isn't necessarily, like, too bad or anything like that. It's just, it gets to be a pain in the ass to maneuver around at times. Use our weapons to their advantage. There's another block that we can only move if we have the Thunder Beam. But I don't need to go that way. So fire, thankfully, ignites oil. The problem is, by doing that, we just used up half of our ammo for the Firestorm. And if we want to go back, we have to use up more. So the Firestorm was really good in Mega Man 1, and in this game, it's kind of garbage. Well, it's not that terrible. But it's definitely not as good as it used to be. So, like, it doesn't even kill these guys, like, quickly or anything like that. It just... The ammo count just kind of bites it in the ass a lot. There are times when, you know, like, I feel like I'd want to use this weapon, but it's just not that good. If I aim a bomb carefully, alright, this position will work. Fortunately, over explosions don't do as much damage as a direct hit will do. Take things slow, because I'm a little bit paranoid at times. Ooh, nice weapon energy. I would like to see like an HD remastering of this game though, or even just a Mega Man powered up. You know, where they take like what they did for this game and rework it even further. And that's kind of what Mega Man Universe was gonna be, actually. Because that game had a level editor and everything, but unfortunately that game just, well, it never came out. Oh yeah, here's another inconvenient part. These oil canisters actually block your attacks too. So you kind of have to use fire there to make life easier. But it makes making that jump harder in return. There's still some cool things at this stage though. Ooh, like that. That's actually not cool, that's actually very warm. That is fire. I guess another thing about the weapons in this game is that they're not always that much more powerful than your Buster is. And I guess different enemies have different weaknesses to them as well. Oh, 2 shots with Firestorm? Ah, this might stink. This might stink.
Warning!
Hey, what'd you come out here for? Don't you got a place near your house for fill-ups?
Oilman, let's go home.
You for real? Even if that just slipped out, we are still gonna do this. Yeah! It's showtime!
We definitely have our oil puns here going. Okay, I'm starting to remember how to fight this guy now. Got a reasonably simple pattern, kicking my ass. Oh gosh. Right, he's at half health. He's gonna start to use his oil slider now. Thankfully, he only does the oil slider when he's at like the far edge of the stage. Like that. Oh, that was a wasted ass Firestorm. There we go. Oilman, you have been terminated. You slipped up big time. Yikes, did not get through that stage very quickly at all. Alright, oil slider. As far as an attack goes, it's weird. It's really weird. It's such a weird weapon.
Great job! Give it your all on the next stage too, Kay.
I'll show off the weirdness of it in the Oilman Stage. Let's get into it. Actually, Oilman is one of the cooler Robot Masters here, mainly.
Electrifying!
I kinda like Oilman here, partly because like one of the first YouTube videos I ever did was showing off a glitch in this stage or in his boss fight. So Oil Slider, it fires a glob of oil. This weapon has the most ammo of anything you get in the game, and it basically allows you to skate forward on the oil puddle, which is difficult to control, And unfortunately, the oil itself doesn't do much damage. You actually have to use, like, the skating part in order to actually do the big damage with it. Oh, right. Vanishing Blocks. I want to get that. Thank you. I guess another thing I can talk about is this game's soundtrack is kind of... It's good, but there are some pieces of music that I'm not... or like parts of the music that I'm not entirely sure I like. And I think part of it's because the game's music also tries to go for like this cutesy aesthetic to it and whatnot. Like, Oilman Stage has some good guitar work in it at least, but as far as like the weird like synth goes here, I'm not entirely sure I like it actually. Of course, it's working off the Mega Man 1 music, so the music in general tends to be a little repetitive, but it's not so bad. I guess that's one of the reasons why I like Oilman and Time Man, are because they're just completely new pieces of music they added to the game. And that little bit of freshness goes a long way. I think this is the one we want. Maybe it's not. I got a lot of thunder beams here to deal with. I never noticed how cartoony that lightning looked too. As a kid, there are some things that you don't, like, notice about video games. Like, you don't notice certain things are a 2D sprite until, like, later. It's like the Pokies in Super Mario 64. It's just like, I used to think that, oh, the Pokies in Mario 64, they always face the camera because they're, like, creepy and stuff. And now it's just like, oh, I know they always face the camera because they're 2D sprites. It is kind of crazy, though, how like some of those games use 2D sprites in the place of 3D models, but still had it as like a 3D character. Like, the bombs are just a texture with some other bits attached to them. But since they're like just circly dudes anyway, it works out. Circly dudes, round boys. Ooh, that's not where I meant to throw that ice slasher. I did not look at what direction I was facing. I guess it doesn't matter. Also note this! There was an alternate path through the stage if we busted it open with Time Man, but could not, so I had to do that.
Well done, but you say goodbye here. I might even tell you more about me after I win.
I don't have any reason to fight you, Oilman. Come on, let's go home.
You'll never blast through my heart with that kind of attitude. It's really too bad, but I'm going to finish you at lightning speed.
So Oilman is a little bit of a narcissist. So Oilman's weakness fucking sucks. Like having to use the actual like oil slider part of it. It's so bad, but you can do shit like that. So I guess it's not all that bad. Mega Man just kills Robot Masters with his ass. Thunderbeam! This has been significantly nerfed from Mega Man 1 as well, primarily as far as ammo goes. It's also a big projectile, so it hits the environment a lot of the time.
Nice job. Keep up the good work.
But I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Next episode, we've only got 2 Robot Masters left to fight, Time Man and Guts Man. And then we'll get into the meat and potatoes, the Wily Castle. See you guys then!